Hello, my name is Pearl from the beadinggem and welcome to another tutorial. Wire crochet is kind of tricky to start, so this tutorial will show you how to use a triangular frame from Yoola Design to help make this pair of funky triangular earrings. Come and see how it's done. Here's what you'll need. Yoola Design's triangle set of frames actually comes in 3 sizes. We'll only need to use the smallest one. I recommend you use 3 colors of 28 gauge wire, 2 of which are actually for the design. The third is for the foundation row. You'll also need flush cutters, pliers, and of course ear wires. You can use regular kinds of metal crochet hooks, but I prefer to use an ergonomic one for comfort. The size of the crochet hook will depend on how experienced you are with wire crochet. Smaller ones like the 0.6 or the 0.75 millimeter hooks will allow you to pick up speed, but I prefer to use the 1 millimeter to ensure that I can hook up the wire easily. Go ahead and assemble the frame. The bars should fit easily into the end connectors. If you have any trouble, turn the bars upside down and try again. When you're done, work with the smooth side of the connectors facing up. This will ensure that the frame doesn't come apart as you are working. The crochet pattern is very easy. There are just 8 rounds or 8 rows. I like to use a different color wire as the foundation row to differentiate it from the main body of work. The blue is used in rows 1 to 3, the silver rows 4 to 6, and also in the ending row. Keep your working wire in a little Ziploc bag because it stops the wire from springing open. Begin the foundation row by wrapping the end of the copper wire around the frame to the left of one of the connectors. Then use the crochet hook to pull up a long loop through the first hole of the next bar. This loop has to be long enough to go over the bar. You'll also notice that I use my left thumb to press down on the loop that's just formed. This ensures that the wire is set, i.e. it's not as loose as it could be. Other things to note is how I use the crochet hook to poke through the wire loop after I've pulled it out of the hole. This also sets the size of the loop. The other thing to watch out for is how I use my left forefinger to keep the wire supply sort of trapped so that it is easier for me to hook up the wire. The wire supply is fed from below. When you come to a corner, you'll be using a little extra wire to span the distance to get to the first hole of the next connector. That is fine. The other thing is it's okay to go back and reset the loop sizes if you need to. Or if you have to unpick, you can do so. But be careful, don't do this too much because that will make the wire break with too much usage. Once you finish the foundation row, cut off the copper wire, leaving a short tail. Then you must check the foundation row to make sure all the loops are even and lying flat on top of each of the connectors. Use an awl or perhaps a small knitting needle to double check this step. Next, attach the blue wire and begin the first row. As you can see, I fumbled a bit here. It is tricky, this first blue row, but I promise you it will get easier. You can also see me pulling the copper wire foundation with my hook if I found that it was lying too flat on the connector to use. attach the silver wire and then begin row 4. The first stitch of row 4 with silver wire is made through the overlapped blue stitches from the previous row. From now on, at every corner, you must go through those 2 overlapped blue stitches. Row 5 in silver wire is exactly the same as the previous row. The exception is you are now going through 2 corner stitches in silver wire from the previous row. Row 6 in silver wire is exactly the same as row 5. Begin the ending row. This is where you will modify the stitch that you're pulling up. The wire loop will now be pulled longer so that you can then go into the next stitch along to hook up the next loop. Every loop will be longer than normal because you are making a stitch inside the next one. When the ending row is completed, it's time to cut off the wire and then weave in that wire end. Next, remove the frame from the work. First, pull off the connectors and then carefully cut off the copper wire foundation. Weave in the other silver wire end, but leave the blue ends alone. Use the two blue wire ends and wrap around the barrel of the crochet hook in order to form a simple loop for the ear wire. Make sure to tuck in all the wire ends using the chain nose pliers. This is an optional step, but if you can, you should work harden the earrings. I used my nylon hammer and base. The last step is obviously to add the ear wires, and then you're done. A couple of variations that you could try is to use different color schemes, or to also close up the hole in the middle. Other than that, enjoy!